All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us for this next in the series of the SAP Community Calls, where you get to interact directly with SAP's top executives and leadership. This morning is no exception. We're joined this morning by Thomas Saueressig, who is a member of the executive board at SAP and essentially responsible for all the business application development at SAP. So the buck certainly stops here when it comes to business application development. And we're happy to have you here with us this morning, Thomas. Well, it's not too confusing, two Thomases interacting here. I'm filling in this morning for Craig, who was away and not able to join. But I wanted to thank you for joining us. How are you doing? This must be a very busy week with everything going on at SAP, but thanks for taking time out of your day. How has this week been?
Very exciting, and thanks so much, Thomas. I really appreciate it. And also warm welcome from my side to everybody. And indeed, I mean, the last couple of months were quite intense at SAP, and I mean, most of you will have seen the quarterly announcements as well as some other significant announcements which we've made over the last couple of weeks. And that's actually what I'm so excited to talk today to you a little bit about our product strategy and how do we want to evolve actually our intelligent enterprise strategy to the next level. And so I'm really looking forward to a great conversation and to great feedback from you. And yeah, looking forward to that session. So.
All right, well, why don't we go ahead and get into it? You're going to give us a little bit of an overview. You have a few slides prepared, but during this time, feel free, attendees, to begin to post your questions because we'll go into a Q&A round right after that. And it's good if you are already posting your questions and getting them queued up as Thomas is presenting. But with that, I'll turn it over to you to go ahead and kick things off.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Thomas. And yeah, again, warm welcome from my side. I hope that everybody is safe and healthy in these unprecedented times, because this is for sure the utmost importance also for us as a company, for our customers, partners, and the community to ensure what we can do from our perspective to ensure that everybody is safe and healthy, the best we can do. So all the best in your respective situation which you are. As you've seen, I mean, the last months we had Sapphire now in a virtual format. We had the Hannover Messe, the Hannover Fair, a large industrial event. We had the quarterly announcements. We had announcements with regards to Qualtrics. So I think a lot of the things come together. And what I would like to do, I want to give you a little glimpse about the product strategy of SAP and how we want to evolve it actually and take it to the next level and what we believe enterprise software is about in the future. And for sure, this audience is for me super important because the community of SAP is not only extremely vital and vibrant, but also the feedback you give to us is of utmost importance for us. And I can just assure you how serious we take all of your feedback and guidance. So thanks so much already also for taking the time and providing your feedback. So I'm really looking forward also to a great Q&A after the short introduction to some of the aspects of the new strategy. And again, really keen to learn from you what you think about that and what questions you might have overall. So if we think about the current time, I mean, what is becoming more obvious than ever is for sure that the Corona pandemic actually accelerated a lot of the things. If you think about the need for agility, it's tremendously increased. I think everybody sees that. And also what we see actually that agility actually is leading to resiliency. And this is especially in these times more important than ever. And that means companies need to be able to quickly adjust business models and quickly think about how can we adapt the supply chain in case there's a disruption or there's a lockdown and you need to switch gears. And you see how interconnected the world is and the global network of companies, especially as this pandemic was on a global scale. And these are all aspects which basically have a direct impact to each and every company in the world and how to deal with it. And so I think everybody now understood that digitalization or digital transformation is not just a buzzword from the IT industry, from some smart marketing guys, but actually this is something which is of utmost importance to, with the digital capabilities, get the agility to become resilient in these times. And this is what our portfolio is about. SAP's promise was always to run end-to-end business processes, to run an entire enterprise. And for sure, these days, we need to talk about an intelligent enterprise, which means for sure leveraging innovation, leveraging artificial intelligence to really drive not only the productivity, but fundamentally also help the user experience, to help to guide the users in the respective right manner. And that's certainly also an expectation, because for sure, every user is changing his expectation towards software and what software is about. And this was something in my former role as CIO of SAP. I actually had the mantra around user-centric IT, because fundamentally we really want to ensure that the user is in the center of our activities, and we need to help him to do his job actually, and to do his job better and at scale. And this is something where I believe this focus on fully end-to-end integrated business processes, but with the focus around the user, is absolutely key. And this was the promise from SAP from the get-go, to really think about how can you really standardize and optimize the integrated end-to-end processes. And here, especially if you think about it, the unique combination of the material flow and the value and the financial flow was always key, because this is a significant value driver for companies and a significant driver for their processes. And now, for sure, also with regards to the acquisition of Qualtrics, which we did, because we fundamentally do believe that actually experience management is something we need to embed into all of the processes. And you've seen some glimpse about that already last year when we launched the human experience management category. So really thinking about how can we embed the employee sentiment in all of the key employee journeys in the processes within HR. And this was just a starting point. And what we did also in the last couple of weeks, in light of the product strategy which we worked on, is really we worked on a detailed level how we embed this experience management also for the supplier experience, for the customer experience, and all the other processes which we see. And you will see more about that in the weeks to come, how important that is for us and how strategic it is to use that also as a differentiator, because we truly believe that the processes from tomorrow for sure will look differently, and that will be processes which include way more the sentiment of the respective target audiences as well. And then I believe if we think about SAP and our status, I mean, we run within the four walls of the company basically the significant value chains and processes. And not only the processes, but also the data in all of these systems is for sure significant. I would even argue this is a treasure of data. And now the question is, what do we do with it? Because I fundamentally believe that we need to also rethink and reimagine processes. And processes not in a more transactional manner like in the past, but turn it a little bit upside down and think about what can we do with the insights into that data, which will change fundamentally the processes, and to steer processes based on the insights into the data which we have. And this is something which you will see more in the future, how we will leverage actually way more the insights out of our data, but also with fully AI-driven software to really optimize and automate the processes. I don't want to talk about autonomous software or something like that, but it's certainly from an aspirational aspect, super important to understand the possibilities we have. And that's where we double down on the topic of artificial intelligence in this regards. And for sure, we absolutely will leverage the differentiation capabilities we also can have with SAP HANA and the HANA Cloud services which we have. So I think that is certainly an important aspect. And what you see on that slide are already kind of new aspects to the strategy. I mean, everybody of you knows our intelligence suite with the cloud line of businesses with S4HANA, how we bring that together from a process perspective. You all have seen the announcement around the industry cloud during Sapphire, and I will come to those aspects, but you also see how we want to embrace sustainability with our Climate 21 initiative, the experience management. And also what you see above on that slide is the notion around business process intelligence. And this is something where you think about it, this is a natural way for us to think about, we have the processes configured in our systems, we have the data which is in our system, why not smartly, again, as I mentioned, leverage the data we have, get the insights into the process, how they run, and also give proposals how to optimize the business processes. And this is something where certainly we have some opportunity here as well. And for sure, the foundation of all of that, the business technology platform. And here I think it's very important because the business technology platform will be for us a vehicle that basically the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. And you all know about the various applications which we brought into our portfolio. And that's certainly an ambition that we want to bring that together. And that's the reason before I actually really look into the future and what we want to do, for sure, it's always important to look where we are today. And for sure, the notion around integration is super important. And Christian Klein just today actually released an update on our integration roadmap, where we transparently want to basically show where we are. And that was the promise what we gave beginning of the year, that we want to really, on a very transparent way, talk about the progress which we did on these various activities. And therefore, we defined the first wave of suite qualities, which is for us super important, how we want to bring all of the applications together along the processes. This is our focus. So we don't talk about individual products anymore, but really thinking about the solutions we want to provide and the processes which we want to run for our customers. And therefore, for sure, there are notions like the user experience, how to ensure that if you cross multiple applications of SAP, that for the user itself, it's a seamless experience. And actually, he shouldn't worry if it's Ariba or if it's S4HANA Cloud. Actually, to fulfill his job, he doesn't worry about those two products, but he worries about to get the job done with the process he needs to adhere. And that's the reason for sure user experience is key. We talk about a consistent security and identity management. We talk about an aligned domain model, which is actually the foundation for a lot of extension. And especially also if you think about analytics or also artificial intelligence, this is super critical to get this in order. And we here don't only talk about master data, we for sure think also further with regards to transactional data. And this is something where you will see way more how we will expose basically the entire domain model of SAP, how to run an enterprise on the SAP Cloud Platform itself, which for sure will dramatically simplify how you can extend our applications, but also how you integrate into the various applications as well. And further suite qualities. And here we did a lot of groundwork already last year. And that's also the reason why we now really see the fruits and see the progress along the way. And quite frankly, also a very important notion, and I can again just also refer to my former role as CIO of SAP. For sure, we acknowledge that we are in very complex environments in all of our customers. So we absolutely also do know that we live in hybrid worlds. So a lot of our customers also have for sure on-premise systems. And that's the reason why we actually extend for sure our integration efforts, that we not only talk about cloud-to-cloud integration, but also cloud-to-on-premise integrations with an S4HANA on-premise system as well. And this is something which we also now extend in our activities, and where we will give you also more updates along the way, how we want to optimize that in this regard. And I think we did some great progress already. If you think about, we embedded SAP Analytics Cloud in SuccessFactors or in S4HANA Cloud. We embedded Qualtrics into S4HANA Cloud to really get the feedback from our end users actually. And our product managers get the real-time feedback from the users, which is a tremendous help for us. And hopefully this is for us not only important because we get the feedback from all of you, but really it changed the culture of our development organization to really have this user-centric view and to embrace customer feedback in a direct manner, jumping over some of the in-between manners. And that's very, very important as well. And I think just recommend that you watch and look out for the integration roadmap Christian published. And again, it's just an update on the progress and the further steps we take in this direction. But integration is the one thing. The other thing is actually innovation and artificial intelligence, to bring that is a natural way into our applications. And I think what is written on that slide is very important, because there's also a lot of talk sometimes. Is it integration or is it innovation? And I have to say it's not an either or, it's actually an and. We need to do both to succeed in the market. And this is something where you can be assured that we have the right portfolio set up in place in this regards. When we look into innovation, and if you think about the various artificial intelligence use cases, in the meantime, we have more than 250 cases which are available for our customers in the various applications and processes available. And this is, I think, just a starting point about what we are going to do, because there is a tremendous focus and pressure. And we also think about, and concepts you see already with S4HANA Cloud, for instance, which is situation handling, that we basically with a proactive alert, the user will be guided actually to a page where he gets all the respective information for the dedicated situation which is happening and a recommendation what to do, so that he's guided actually proactively. And I think that's also certainly a change, that the software should actively reach to the user and help him on the way, and not wait that the user is doing something. I think that we need to rethink actually the user experience from that angle. And that's what you see already, the responsive. And for sure, the system is learning, which means the system learns about the recommendations, and if you follow the recommendation, and that's basically a self-learning system to optimize, to give better recommendations along the way. And now, I think what I believe, just to give you some sense, because I know it's always even emotionally sometimes discussed about S/4HANA, about our architectural strategy here. And for sure, we absolutely modularize our application portfolio. And you see more and more applications directly built on the SAP Cloud Platform, natively integrated to S/4HANA, and new applications are built on the SAP Cloud Platform from an SAP perspective. That's a clear guidance which we give to the development organization, which means you see a clear modularization of our portfolio. And also S/4HANA has achieved a tremendous success. If you just think about this year for a little bit, we talk now about more than 14,600 customers. We talk about more than 700 go lives within actually Q2, even though there was the COVID impact as well. So also in the remote setting, there were a tremendous amount of go lives happening. So there's a huge momentum in that, and significant also go lives across actually the globe, and also across the customer segments, from really super XL large customers to smaller customers. And I think that's actually something where we're really proud of, I have to say. And also what we absolutely understand, and where we're really working heavily, is for sure that we provide an open system. And that's the reason why we for sure invest, and will invest even further, on APIs. And for S/4HANA Cloud, we already have more than 300 APIs available. But we also, again, in the hybrid complex landscapes which we are in, will now also provide APIs for on-premise system on the API hub of SAP. So you see how we really evolve our applications. And also, what we should not forget is actually how the cloud line of businesses, also with the integration, really fit together now with the processes we want to adhere to, and that we really streamline the various applications. And also here, great progress. If you think about what we are going to do with one procurement, that's the project name, where we really ensure that with Ariba and S/4HANA, we really bring all of the procurement, the entire source to pay process together. And there also, again, the SAP Cloud Platform will be the vehicle how all of that will come together actually along the way, and teams are working on that. So really ensuring that also our portfolio is really sorted out. Okay, I think what is important for SAP is SAP wants to be a growth company. That's absolutely our ambition. And we also do believe that actually with enterprise software, that it's more relevant than ever. If you think about the needs our customer have, and I talked about that earlier with regards to Corona and the driving factors which we see. Now we thought about how can we actually extend our portfolio with adjacent markets where we see tremendous growth. And first and foremost, for sure, there's the notion around the business network. We already have the largest procurement network with SAP Ariba, and here we talk about more than 4 million trading partners, more than 3.6 trillion in commerce, which we have. So tremendous network. And for sure, there's an ambition that we extend that also to a logistic business network with the asset intelligence network, but also to bring it all together to have a unified business network for all of our customers and partners here together, joining that vision. Secondly, for sure, and I talked a lot about that already beginning of the year at Sapphire, is the notion around sustainability. And even though we are all currently very much focused on the short-term activities with regards to Corona and how to cope with this situation, we still see that climate change is the biggest challenge of humanity. And that's what we need to tackle as well. And in order to give you one of the dimensions like CO2, in order to really reduce it, this is certainly something where we need to think about the end-to-end value chain and the end-to-end processes, and I will come later to that. And thirdly, for sure, what we absolutely see is all this disruption and transformation within the various industries. And we also, I would argue, see how industries lines are blurring. So if you see how companies now, especially also with the pressure of Corona, need to change their business model and need to also go into new industry categories, is something which is actually fascinating. And want to also give some examples later. But basically, there is something where SAP, for sure, with our strong intelligent suite, we also want to extend that to really, for the innovation at the vertical edge, to really think about the verticalization and the deep industry-specific processes directly in the end consumer and in the factory as well. And here, I think it's very important for us to support our customers, but also, and this is very important, to really think from a partner-oriented model, because, I mean, we talk about so many industries and such diverse transformation that we really want to invite everybody to really help together to help our customers transform in the various industries. Now, I just want to give you a quick step-by-step for the respective topics. And what we recognize also, and that's actually an interesting fact, if you think about SAP and our customers, we run the processes within the four walls of our customers. But what we somewhat not do perfectly is to connect the dots to other customers or their end suppliers and end customers. And this is something where we for sure really want to think about multi-enterprise businesses. Because if you think about the automotive, for an example, I mean, all the large automotive OEMs run SAP. All their suppliers fundamentally run SAP. And for the supplier, it's basically a sales process. For the OEM, it's a procurement process. Both have SAP systems. For the one, it's the sales order. For the other, it's the purchase order. So why not connecting those dots already within, actually also interconnected between the companies? And especially if you think about the cloud, where we anyway run the solutions, why not actually also think about the integration across the company borders? And this is something where we want to certainly help from our application portfolio, but also from a network perspective to really do the connectivity across all the various dimensions, from procurement to supply chain, logistics and assets, all together to simplify the connectivity within the company. And this is certainly something where I believe it's a very exciting opportunity to really increase the transparency, the visibility, and then for sure also optimize the processes. And especially also in this time, actually network was super critical, because you see how quickly from one day to the other, based on a lockdown or something like that, you need to be able to switch gears from a supplier perspective. And this is something where that you're able to tap into such a network is more important than ever. If we think about sustainability, I think most of the companies always thought about the top line and the bottom line. And SAP for sure supported our customers always to increase the top line with new business models. For instance, if you think about consumption-based model, subscription-based model is our leading billing solution, but also the bottom line for sure is productivity and efficiency and effectiveness gains. But I believe it's actually time to extend that, actually to open up the third dimension for success, which is sustainability. I think that's a very important factor in this regards. And here, I think this is not just a buzzword or marketing activity. We actually truly believe that with our software, if we end-to-end in the entire value chain, bring all of the processes together, that you really can actively optimize the processes according to the CO2 emissions, for instance, which is very important. And here, I want to give you a glimpse on the next slide around how these processes actually need to come together. And that's also where you see that our intelligent enterprise and our portfolio end-to-end is so essential actually to be able to do that. Because for sure, you procure a component, then you produce it, you basically transport it, you have a warehouse, you distribute it to the customer. So you see actually how this chain is working, and you see the different touch points which you have, and then the connectivity for sure also to the financials. And all of that is something we want to bring together, is really extending also here our data model with the notion around, for instance, energy consumption and CO2 emissions along all the value chains we have across of all of our portfolio, and to be able not only to analyze and track and measure, for instance, the CO2, but also to be able to actively actually manage and optimize the CO2. And now if you think about our 440,000 customers, and what kind of CO2 emissions those customers have, if we achieve here a couple of percentage points improvement, imagine what kind of impact that can have. And that's something what we certainly want to do. And then the next topic for industry cloud is actually really thinking about, as I mentioned, the innovation at the vertical edge. And here, all of that for sure will be built entirely on the business technology platform, that we really have this modular approach. But for sure, we need to extend that it's getting a vibrant marketplace actually around all of these applications. And here, we also think differently about partnerships, because also here, customers actually will turn into partners and vice versa. It will be extremely dynamic. And we are really also thinking about industry partnerships. So what you've seen, for instance, the last weeks is announcements with Honeywell or announcement with Siemens, where you clearly see how we want to not only open up, but also think differently about partnerships to really achieve new dimensions which we want to have here. And I think also here, especially in industry cloud, it will be very important to think about what is the industry data model. And with providing that and opening that up, for sure, we really hope to see a vibrant ecosystem joining in this endeavor to help our customers. And if you think about industries like automotive is always a good example, how they are disrupted with connected cars, autonomous cars, the notion about sharing, and the notion about electricity. So basically mobility will be entirely different. And here, the automotive, I just came from one automotive OEM CIO 2 weeks back, and he was asking me about consumption-based billing. And here for sure, we have a market-leading solution. And the interesting piece is, this is coming for sure as a norm already in the telco and utilities industry since multiple decades, which means some of the business capabilities we've built for one industry is now actually relevant for other industries as well. And this is what we will see, that we see actually industry lines blurring. We see the business models blurring. And this is something where we for sure with the dedicated business capabilities want to help along those journey. And now, I think to wrap it up, I think if you really think in the future, I mean, imagine a world where enterprise software is truly agile and flexible based on a modular architecture, to really give every customer this freedom to basically kind of in a business process as a service can basically bundle the business capabilities he needs together in an integrated fashion, but also that he's able to quickly on the fly actually change the processes with a business process reconfiguration. That is not a month and quarterly or yearly long process to change certain aspects of that. And then for sure, think about everything what you can do with tapping into the data and with AI in the future when we sort that out. And this is for sure a huge excitement for me, because we really want to think differently about what enterprise software is about. And for sure, in our perspective for SAP, it needs to be integrated. It needs to be agile. It needs to be sustainable. It needs to be AI driven. And for sure, this is something where our ambition is to provide all of these aspects actually to our customers to succeed in their challenges they have. And now, having talked so long, I would now really like to open up for Q&A to really get your feedback and your perspectives on SAP's product strategy. The questions you have around the entire application portfolio is all in my area. So really looking forward to get your feedback and to start the dialogue and conversation with you. So thank you very much. Thomas, over to you.
Yeah, thank you for the excellent overview. We already have some questions coming in, which we'll get to in just a second here, but want to encourage everybody again, based upon what you've heard, if you have questions even outside the scope of what was specifically discussed, but on the SAP Business Application Portfolio, as Thomas said, please add them to the add them to the question and answer or put them in the chat. One of our moderators will help put it over there as well. We also have a couple of questions coming in from other channels as well, social media and things like that. So I may combine a couple together here as we go. But why don't we jump right in? We got a really excellent question here to kick things off. In reference to the Christian Klein roadmap that you mentioned that was just published, and we did put a link in the chat to all the attendees as well. So I assume everybody will wait till the end of the session and then run over and read that right away. But we have a good question about the roadmap being perhaps focused on S/4HANA in the cloud when it comes to integration. And the specific question from this attendee is, what about S/4HANA on-premise customers? And they made a comment, hopefully no customer left behind is the answer here, but can you elaborate a little bit more on how the S/4HANA on-premise fits into that integration roadmap?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question, and actually fitting to the point I wanted to make earlier is exactly that the integration roadmap which you see, this is for sure a focus about cloud-to-cloud integration. But, and this is the good piece, as I laid out, we know and acknowledge the hybrid landscape and the nature of hybrid landscapes. That's the reason why absolutely we will include also the on-premise integrations, S/4HANA on-premise. So absolutely no customer is left behind, and we will extend these integration efforts also for S/4HANA on-premise. And also here, as we absolutely do see the importance also for on-premise also in the future, that's also the reason why we also will, with regards to APIs and how we open up the systems, we also will provide APIs for S/4HANA on-premise on the api.sap.com API hub to also do that one. So absolutely great question, and we absolutely do also the activities with regards to integrations into S/4HANA on-premise. That's part of our integration work and game. I mean, as you've seen, we now have 14,500 S/4HANA customers, and for sure, there's also a certain portion of that is on-premise, and that's the reason it's clear that we also want to support in that regards. Yeah. So great questions. Thank you very much.
And the next one is kind of along the same, not directly, but in the same vein. So we'll throw it in here. And the question is specifically about, what are you seeing as far as changes in customer expectations compared or in regards to on-premise and cloud enterprise software? I think you touched on that a little bit about having that customer-centric view with the Qualtrics feedback and things like that we get in the cloud, but maybe you can elaborate on some of the differences there and what it's like to build for those two different delivery channels.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, what we clearly see, especially also during the Corona crisis, is for sure a heavy push towards cloud to quickly enable capabilities to quickly implement and get the value of applications. That's the reason why for sure there's a tremendous push toward cloud, absolutely, and that's fitting to our strategy and supporting our business model transformation, which we've been on the last couple of years. And so absolutely, we see a clear push towards cloud. But, and that's also something what is very interesting, that we see in certain categories of our application portfolio, and especially also in the ERP, that a lot of customers actually they have a need to really modify the system, and that's certainly what we see, and a lot of customers who want to actually really be able to take their existing, in this case ECC implementation, and take some of the differentiators they've built over multiple years also to the new world. And that's the reason why there's also clearly a demand also for, let's say, kind of on-premise qualities, like that you can modify a system. And that's the reason why this is still a very important topic for us as well. But for sure, thinking as a customer, the need that you want to avoid CapEx, which means you want to also see subscriptions and move to OpEx in general, also for that dimension. And this is something you can be assured that we're also thinking about how we can help our customers along those lines to really ensure that they get the right solution which they need. But overall, it's a clear trend towards cloud in basically all of the categories. We still see a huge demand for on-premise type of software also in the ERP area. And what we also recognize around the globe, also depending on the legal regulations, we see in certain countries like in China, Brazil, Russia, and others, based on the also geopolitical situations, a strong push also towards on-premise and running the solutions on their own. So there's certainly something what we see and what we watch very carefully around the globe. And that's from a customer perspective. And from a user perspective, it's absolutely clear that the user wants to basically be able to use the software anytime and anywhere. So mobile is for sure a norm. That's absolutely key. And for sure also that the expectation is that the software is more actively actually guiding the user and recommending the next actions to the user. And that's clearly also something what we see. Also the interaction patterns, we see a more trend towards more conversational user experiences, digital assistants. And this is also something where we are heavily working on to really provide those kind of activities. Also, what is quite interesting from a user perspective, what we see is that our users expect within the application itself actually learning capabilities and the enablement capabilities. And this is something where we, with Enable Now and our web assistant, basically really want to include into all of the activities that whenever a user is on any transactional application or screen, that he can press a button, gets a little video around how to use this application, that is getting more really more easy also from a change management perspective. And especially also now, if you think about Corona and home office and remote work, if you get new employees onboarded and they want to, use the business software provided by the company, they want to just use it. And then if they have a question, they press the button, get some feedback on the screen and can continue along the journey. So also this notion of enablement and learning is changing significantly. And that's where we also actually with our activities want to support it. So there's multiple facets actually, and I'm actually quite passionate about all the user-centric aspects of software, because I also do believe we can only change the perception of SAP. And let's be honest, in this community call, as always, transparent. I mean, the perception of SAP is for sure that it's that sometimes it's a complex solution. And I think it's very important that we also focus on the notion around the new user experience, because that will fundamentally change the perception on the end user, and with that, step by step, the perception of the entire company. And I can assure you there's a big focus from that perspective on our side.
All right, thank you. I'm going to combine some of them together. We're starting to get lots of questions rolling in now, and some of them are closely related. So we'll group some of those together. But I thought you brought up a really good point about the coronavirus being the short-term threat, and sometimes us as human beings, we focus only on the short-term threat, but climate change remains the longer-term threat to humanity. So on that subject, maybe could you give a concrete example of how we're addressing that with the Business Suite application, or the Intelligence Suite applications in general, or more specifically, what is in the scope of Climate 21? And someone also asked, is Climate 21 already available? Can customers already use it?
Very good questions. And here, the Climate 21 is basically the program name or the umbrella under which we basically pursue these activities. And this is where we also as a company provided now incremental funding to the development teams to work on that, to really span it across all the applications. So what is available today is actually the SAP Product Carbon Footprint Analytics solution, which is based on the SAP Analytics Cloud, to really be able to track and analyze, for instance, the carbon emissions on that front. That was our front runner, which we announced at Sapphire already with a live customer, Döhler, who basically has more than 15,000 products and more than 5,000 raw materials, which are included in all of these calculations with the entire value chain to be able to do that. So it's really a complex analysis which is required for those companies. And in this Climate 21 initiative, we do it entirely customer oriented. So we have a co-innovation with 15 customers ongoing to really ensure that whatever we deliver is really fitting to the demand and needs of our customers. So that's the first product out of this initiative. And now we're actually extending it quarter by quarter into the various applications. Like we extend the data model for S4HANA. We think about what we can, for instance, with regards to Concur, to get all the travel information to be able to calculate some of this. So basically, step by step, you see an extension in all of the various applications. And you will see that this will going across. And also here, there will be a big reference and showcase for the SAP Cloud Platform, because this is basically, again, the unifying layer for all of the various applications in this Climate 21 approach. And yeah, so we are absolutely on that. And I would really also like to offer everybody who wants to join here, I'm more than happy, because I think it's really a fascinating activity along the way. And I think I forgot one part of the question, Thomas, which I'm recalling.
Oh, I think you hit most of it. There was specific examples and about Climate 21 being available, and I think you addressed that by explaining that that's an umbrella program and went into the details of where there are specific deliveries there.
Yeah, I actually forgot. I wanted to mention also another example where actually one of the chief sustainability officers we talked to in this activity, he actually said to us that he is now more and more, also already since last year, quite frankly, customers who are approaching this customer to actually ask for their for the portfolio the customer is buying from this company, the product carbon footprint. And the customers go even further, that they actually, because of their goals, actually ask this company to say, I would be willing to pay a premium price for less carbon footprint, less carbon emissions in the footprint of your products. And this is interesting because you see this dynamic, and this is just increasing. And there we really also do believe, and that's the reason why we even believe that sustainability is also something which will definitively also have a positive benefit for our customers. And also one thing to notice with the sustainability aspect, which is also dear to my heart, because I make a lot of examples with regards to CO2 emissions, because I think that's just very handy to explain the topics. But for sure, if we think about sustainability, we think broader. So we think about all of the ESG, like also the environmental, societal, and governance topics. And that's also the reason why we for sure include topics like environment, health, and safety, where we also have a product in place to think about worker safety and the likes. So there's way more facets, and we have way more for sure already in our portfolio. But I think it's just to also conclude that it's not just this carbon emission as one aspect, but really we think broader in that sense about sustainability. Just to mention that as well.
All right. Another topic that seems to be gathering several questions here is on the industry cloud. And let me see if I can summarize a few of these together. Basically, there's a couple threads here asking about how partners are going to be able to build apps or contribute to the industry cloud, and specifically startups. How are we going to encourage startups to build for the industry cloud in an affordable manner as well?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And our intention is really for the industry cloud that this is entirely open for everybody to participate, because this is certainly something where SAP alone will not be able to do that actually. And this is the reason why I really can just invite everybody. And also, quite frankly, I really do the offer. Feel free to also drop me directly an email actually, and I will connect you with the respective colleagues in the various industries to really get this also rolling. Because we really want to open up here. We want to provide all the stuff on the cloud platform, the entire domain model, and everything what we have to offer that you can build on top applications. And in general, as a company, we have a high interest that, for instance, startups also leverage the SAP Cloud Platform to build new applications. And then for sure, when we can offer a lot of business services and stuff on there as well for the startups to accelerate some of the activities, that's exactly our goal. And for sure, with regard to affordable, certainly we are in discussion anyway how we want to evolve that, because it's crystal clear, especially as we want to be the strong business platform. That means for sure we need to have this in a very attractive manner that you can really start working on things, and then for sure benefit then from the value when you be able to tap into the marketplace and all of our customers. And this is something where also the notion around the App Center and the deep integration to it and like, for sure we have a lot of homework there to do. I mean, to be honest, I mean, there's still some work to do, but we absolutely have the ambition to do that. So yeah, feel free to reach out directly to me, and I'm more than happy to connect the dots, because that will be a very important topic.
All right. Next question from Peter was about Qualtrics. And he asked specifically, you give it away, and on the other side, you talk about integration. I assume the news this week. In which direction do you want to go here? And then he has a very specific sub question here. Is there any chance to bring Qualtrics onto HANA?
To bring Qualtrics onto HANA, okay. That's a different question, yeah. I mean, first of all, let me address the notion around Qualtrics, because the announcement what we did to basically do a listing and an IPO with Qualtrics in the US. I mean, this is one of the aspects. This is also for sure an aspect which is from an organizational and financial perspective certainly an interesting move. But from a product perspective, and that's where I'm standing for, I can assure you that independent of this, the Qualtrics will be part of SAP's product strategy and is included, which means the embedding of experience management into the processes is as part of our product strategy. And this will continue. And so this is all fitting together. And we will not stop with. We also will not stop on the go-to-market front to jointly basically position the product and also to bundles. For sure, that's what we will also see in the next couple of months to come, that we will bundle Qualtrics around those journeys which I mentioned together with the applications for our customers. We will see a full focus. So there's no change in go-to-market, no change in the product side of the house with regards to announcements which you've seen. So there's no change in that. And for sure, Qualtrics is for sure also not gone, because we will be for sure the majority stakeholder with a significant share. So that's not for me not related to the product strategy. So to be very clear, we will continue full speed with embedding experience management. It's part of the product strategy. I just repeat myself because it's really important to make that message really clear. So independent of this announcement, Qualtrics is absolutely part of the family and part of really integral part of our product strategy.
Very good. Another question here about any news on low code, no code for integrations within the product portfolio and how that can transform for faster delivery. And maybe before you answer, I'll use that question as an opportunity to promote tomorrow's SAP Community call with Max Wessel, who is going to be talking about that very topic in a great amount of detail, low code, no code. So I picked that one on purpose to promote, but also your insights on that and how it's impacting the product portfolio.
No, I mean, that's very good, Thomas. Thank you for that, because that's what I would also have actually done. I mean, from my side, I can just say that we absolutely want to provide low code, no code abilities on the platform for the extension of our applications and to build new applications. Again, leveraging then again the domain model and all what we have. And this is one of the strategic levers in our business technology platform. So this is part of the strategy. And Jürgen Müller and Max Wessel are spot on with that one. So you will see more of that coming soon. So absolutely, it's part of our plans. For sure, there's work to do, and Max will lay out more of that then tomorrow. But it's absolutely part of our strategy as well. Yeah, so it's a very good point, and we know that we need to have to do something here. Absolutely.
All right, we've also gotten several questions on the business technology platform and where that fits into the SAP portfolio. So maybe if I summarize a couple of those together, one is just, how important is the business technology platform to the SAP application portfolio? And how does that play into the portfolio and SAP in general being open to other applications and integration with those other applications? So maybe, wrapping together several questions there, talk about your view of the role of the business technology platform.
Yeah. So for me, the business technology platform is the foundation to bring all of our portfolio together. So it will be definitively used not only for an integration platform, but for sure also from an extensibility perspective. And from an SAP perspective, and also hopefully also from the community, we will see that actually we will be able to build new applications in a very agile manner on the cloud platform to really get speed to value with that as well. And that means, to be very clear, that actually all the new applications which are built from SAP perspective will be built on the business technology platform. Like all the activities we do in Climate 21, all the stuff we do on the industry cloud will all be built on the business technology platform, according to our architectural North Star vision, which we have. And that's the reason why it's actually center stage for us. And it's also for sure from a portfolio and strategic relevance, super important for us, because the platform business, also including the ecosystem and the community, actually is of highest importance for us to really, with that, quite frankly, also drive way more stickiness to our applications as well. So for me, it's a centerpiece of our strategy and foundation for what we do. And yeah, we will see more applications and business services built directly on the business technology platform. And yeah, so it's, for me, again, a centerpiece of the strategy.
All right. I have a very specific question here. It may be too specific, asking for when things will be available, but we'll go ahead and throw it out there, see if there's anything you shed light on about the SAP One Domain model, and including SAP Graph, which is in its beta today. When will those become available for customers and partners to access as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for the domain model, we already, I think, are GA with regards to the employee and the customer. Product will follow soon. A cost center is available, and we use all of that already for all the integrations we do. For instance, with SuccessFactors, with Concur, with S4HANA and the likes. And that's basically now on a quarter by quarter basis. You will see more of the various entities coming on the cloud platform, and for sure detailed roadmap by entity. And again, not only the master data but also the transactional data is certainly something which we can follow up on, and to give you the transparency on the roadmap. But I can assure you there's a big focus from the teams to get this in order. And quite frankly, it sounds sometimes a little bit easy, but it's really hard work, quite frankly, to align the various data models. So that's really not easy. And so it's really groundwork what we do, but it's absolutely worth it, and we are in full push. And quite frankly, what is also important, it's not just from a technical point of view, kind of how many fields and how long the fields are and all of that stuff. For sure, it also needs to be rolled out, but also think about the semantics. And this is for sure our ambition, that we have basically a semantic layer around all of our business objects, which you can basically then also use in a simpler way. And this notion around the business semantics is something which is very important, because also for the integration aspects, that's the reason why we don't talk about technical integrations. We want to have a business process integration. And this is something which is for sure our aspiration, because there we want to really add the value with the semantics on top.
All right, thank you. So we're nearly at the top of the hour. We want to be mindful of everybody's time and schedule here. So maybe we'll take one last question, then we'll wrap things up. This one is a bit of a, if I were to summarize it, the roadmap for the Roadmap Explorer itself. So for the intelligent enterprise scenarios, today, mostly in the Roadmap Explorer, we see the retire to hire, but not a lot of content for lead to cash and source to pay. What's the vision? What is the roadmap, as we said there, for the Roadmap Explorer content itself?
That's a good question. I will definitely follow up on that, because this should be entirely transparent. And if there's some content missing, then we have some misses here. I absolutely will follow up, because again, the transparency about this should be given. I will follow up with the team. Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, I think we want to draw our time to a close. I want to thank you for joining and sharing your expertise and knowledge with the community, taking so many great questions. I want to thank the community for joining and asking these great questions. It's a great jumping off point here for further conversation and follow up. So I don't know if you have any final words you want to share with the community here.
No, just from my side, again, also a big thank you for taking the time. Thanks so much for the feedback, for the questions, and yeah, feel free also to directly reach out to you. Really want to be engaged, and yeah, looking forward to what a continuous collaboration and communication. So thanks so much, everybody. Wish you a wonderful day and stay safe and healthy.
Yes, likewise. Thank you.